Of course, there are many elderly people who are housebound for a variety of reasons, who probably don't get out of the house or home for days or weeks or in sometimes months. So my lack of company is really no big deal, and the remedy's in my own hands. I have the joy of being able to communicate with many friends via the internet, but my main company is the radio, which I have on all day long. Of course, you can't get a hug from the radio, but on the other hand, you don't get that sulk and silent treatment when you shout at it, which of course I very often do. Of course, I listen intently to those programs that I like, but for the rest of the time just prick up my ears when other snippets catch my attention that either interest me or, more usually, annoy me.
Radio 4. Susie Bailey was in her late 50s, spent some time in a ward where there were elderly patients recently.
Almost every night we were kept awake by these elderly people calling for help. They either needed a commode, they needed comforting, or even just a little drink. And quite often staff were totally ignoring them. It just seemed as if they were sometimes there as a social club, and the patients being there were a bit of a hindrance. You know, they couldn't get on and have their chats and do their paperwork.
Jennifer is someone who contacted us. She retired as a nurse 2 years ago.
At one time, nursing was a vacation, and there was not a lot of rewards. I think now nursing, for a lot of people, is seen as a job and a career. And, you know, you're at one level and you're just looking for the next step up the ladder. And I think the bedside caring nurse, professional nurse, doesn't exist as it used to. Some people just don't care and don't seem to want to give the care.
There's been a situation this week in the world of horse racing where jockeys are to be restricted on the number of times that they can use the whip during a race, and if they use it more than a certain number of times, like five times in the last furlongs, they will be punished, and they'll be punished by losing their livelihood. If you are an adult and abuse a child, quite rightly you'll receive a very severe punishment, and not only lose your source of income, but also your freedom. But if you're someone who has the care of a defenceless elderly person and commits acts of bullying, neglect and or abuse, well, then there seems to be no penalties at all. Hello YouTubers. Well, this video was leading up to a visual climax of some very powerful stuff that I thought would tell the story, but the excerpts that I got were from a BBC program, a program that I took part in, which eventually culminated in the formation of the Zimmers, the Zimmers band. But although I've been in contact with contacts I had with the BBC, they remind me that they have the copyright to the footage, and that I'd have to go through a lot of hoops to be able to use it. So I've decided that I can't use it, which is I don't know, it's a bit ridiculous really. I mean, they can come and take films, and they can use yours or my copyright videos from YouTube, or the copyright of YouTube, without permission or payment, but the other way around it doesn't work. Anyway, the film would show some secret filming that the presenters of the program did when they entered an old people's home and came across the most atrocious conditions. As they entered the room, an old lady had just fallen down, and they had no nursing staff, and she was picked up in great pain without any examination as to her injuries or anything else. And well, it was terrible, and in a very short time after that, another old lady fell down and was similarly just picked up and not treated in any way, and subsequently you saw an old lady with all the bruises on her face from things that had happened. And I expect we all hear about these things, and sometimes probably we don't believe them, or we just let them ride over our heads. Maybe some of you have had your relations in old people's homes where you have been less than satisfied with the treatment. So the whole theme of the thing really was to, I suppose, point out that there are lots of cruelties that go on that nobody seems to care about, and certainly a lot seems to happen with elderly people, and a lot there should and hopefully can be a lot of changes if we bring that to the attention. So I'm sorry you hadn't got the visuals. I think visuals are always better than verbal, but so that's the video, and we'll find something else to talk about another time, and until then, goodbye.
On the floor.
What happened to her? Hello? Yes. Are you alright? You know this Becky and Mimi. Becky and Mimi were always on the floor this day. Better. What happened, Anne? On the floor.
Do you not need an ambulance or
No, she always lie down. She'll be alright. It's not first time.
Are you nurses?
Wait.
How do you feel?
How do I feel? I feel cheated and I feel damn ruined in my mind.
Are you in pain at the moment? Did you bang your 5 damn against falls.
Thank you.
Oh, darling.
Thank you, my darling.
The bruising on Mimi's face had been there since we arrived.
Poor Mimi.
More than 2 years ago, Sea Sky had said this home failed